Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing this eyeshadow look using these two palettes. If you'd like to see how I did this, then don't go anywhere. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom and I really enjoy playing with colorful eyeshadow. So I try to upload several videos every week that are all eyeshadow related. If you like what you see, I hope that you'll consider liking and subscribing. As you saw from the thumbnail, we are using Still Pretty from September Rose and Paradise Islands from Nomad, but in case you don't know, I'm doing a little panning sort of project where I randomly selected a palette from my collection and I'm slowly working through the shades in consecutive order. So the random generator had pulled the Through My Eyes palette with, from Colourpop and I Love Sarai, and I've done up through shade number 7. So today is shade number 8, and that is this one right here called Lomo, and this actually, funnily enough, works in perfectly with what I had planned on doing. And then I was like, oh wait, what's my pull-in shade? Ah, that's perfect, because I actually needed sort of that transition color for what I'm thinking. Okay, I've already primed my eyes. Everything that I'm using is linked below in the description box, so let's get going. From the Still Pretty palette, I'm taking the shade Red Rose, and I'm grabbing this with kind of a dense blending brush. Remember, you can always build up your color if you have a decent formula that you're working with, but you can't take it away. So I'm going in a little lightly, and I'm going to start this in my outer corner, which is where I usually start my eye looks, and then I'll dip back into the pan and lay down more. I don't like it when my shadow goes all the way up to my eyebrows, so I am being careful to keep it underneath of the bone because I want to give myself room to blend out this shadow. Honestly, I could probably blend it out by itself, just gently work at the edges, but I want to bring in one more color to help blend it out and to fill in the crease a bit. So this is just being placed in the outer corner. Now Paradise Islands has a pink matte called Sky, so I'm taking that with a smaller and more pinched blending brush. It has a lot of kick up, so I'm dipping into the pan and then tapping off my brush. And then I'm placing Sky starting in my inner corner in the crease. I'm going to fill the crease with this color, and then when it meets the red, I'll just use it to blend out the edges. My husband and I looked at a house yesterday, and honestly, it's kind of a long shot, but we're getting ready to move because our lease is up at the end of July, and each time we've stayed here or renewed our lease here, they raise our rent. So at this point, we're not really saving money anymore. And we figure, hey, why don't we find somewhere much, much closer to work, my husband's work, so that we're at least saving on gas. And that's the plan. We don't really want to be in an apartment complex anyway. We definitely, now a family of 5, need one more bedroom would be nice, but honestly we need storage space. Townhomes don't have storage. There's almost nothing. And it's feeling kind of cluttered and busy. So we've been looking for rental properties, but my husband has a few alerts set on Zillow. And so we actually looked at a house that was for sale yesterday, which was the first time in our marriage that we did that. It's probably the first time since we started having children, and our oldest is 11 now, and we've been married almost 13 years. So it's the first time, I think, since we've started having kids that we've been financially stable enough to even consider the possibility of buying a home. I brought that pink matte onto the lower lash line. With a smudger brush, I'm dipping into Red Rose again, and I think just for kicks I'll also take Cherry Blossom all on the same brush, and I'll use this to deepen my outer corner in the lower lash line. So it's not that we didn't make good money. The problem was that when we started having children was the year that he also started a business. The business ended up growing in unexpected ways, and we weren't as savvy as we could have been. No, it's just part of the journey, and we learned a lot of lessons. And all that to say, financially, we're more secure now than we've been in a long time, and that's a really comfortable place to be. When it came to trying to find a home, when he started mentioning looking at homes that were for sale, I was like, really? Didn't really plan on that or expect that. And also, we're not certain if we want to stay in this part of the country for a long period of time, but we are tentatively committed for a few years anyway. My husband is in a school program. He's doing it online, and he has a good job. And so we're figuring, well, there's really no reason to leave the good job if he can do his school online. Maybe that'll change. At this point, we're not planning on it changing, but it was just interesting to look at a home that was for sale. In the Paradise Islands palette, there's the shade Shark, And I don't remember if this applies better with the finger or the brush, so I'm just gonna try a brush and I'll spray it after it's loaded. So when you're looking at a home to buy, your mindset shifts entirely. All of a sudden you notice all the little things that you can't really mind as a renter, like, oh, the trim doesn't match up there, or there's a gap in those two floorboards, or the paint job is not very good. I'm spraying this. I'm starting this not fully in my corner, but about here, because I wasn't certain how dark it would be, and I didn't want a really dark color in my inner corner. But I think it's okay actually, so I'll bring it down a bit. And it's applying just fine with the brush. Anyway, so yeah, we looked at a house yesterday, and it was, like I said in the beginning, it's kind of a long shot. There would have to be a lot of things that worked out just right for us to really consider buying it or to put an offer in on it. And we want to get some answers from the seller because they had done a bunch of renovations and then they just stopped. And the realtor was very clear, it's being sold as is. And we're like, what does that mean exactly? I mean, I know it means they're not going to finish the renovations, but are there other issues underlying that might cause a problem? The home is large. It was like 2,400 square feet, I think, and it had this huge carport area that was really nice for a boat or an RV. It has this giant backyard with a patio and a fire pit, and had like the back of the garage is sort of a man cave area. I think it was 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms. It was a pretty large home. It was more than twice what we're living in now as far as square footage, and there was tons of storage, obviously the whole garage. Like there was a full garage, plus space at the back, plus the carport, plus the yard, plus closets. We will see. But it was a new experience for us. This brush, this flat brush I used, is now dry, and I don't really want the appearance of a cut crease, so I'm taking it sideways in my crease, and I'm just sort of working back and forth a little bit on this blue shimmer. I'm not adding in more product, I just want to diffuse the shimmer out into the pink because it's such a stark color contrast. And honestly, I've decided that on myself I don't really care for cut creases. I don't really like the way that they look. I think they're cool in like Instagram makeup. Like when you see a picture of a really well done cut crease, you're like, oh, that's cool. And I think they actually look better with neutral tones than color on color. I just don't personally prefer it in general, but especially on myself. So I'm okay with that. So I'm just diffusing this blue a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so here's where my palette pull-in shade comes in. When I decided to do these 2 colors, currently I look like a snow cone. When I decided to do red and blue shimmer, big question when you use 2 very different colors is how do I merge them together? So I was planning on taking this shimmer right here called Maria, because it's a shimmer, so it'll work with the blue, but it transfers into the color of the red. I thought that would be fine. That was my plan, but then I remembered my palette pull-in, and my palette pull-in shade is a red shimmer. So taking this same flat brush and dipping into Lomo. I'm going in lightly because I can add more, but I don't want to overpower anything, so I'm just dipping into Lomo and putting it right on the edge of the red where it meets the blue. The easiest way to do this sort of thing, when you're merging 2 totally unmatched colors, and one's a shimmer and one's a matte, is to take a shimmer in the color you want to transfer to. The blue shimmer into the red matte was a stark contrast. So grabbing a red shimmer transfers the formula, or helps merge the 2 formulas together, and that eases the transition. So I also don't want my eye to be halvesies. I want the blue to be more like 2/3 and the red to stay in the outer corner. So once I've got this faded together pretty nicely, as you can see, I hope you guys can see that on camera. It made such a big difference to simply add the red shimmer. I'm going to go back into the blue because I do want the blue to be a little bit more prominent, and I think I'll spray this again because that will give me better coverage and higher shine. And I'm placing the blue on top of itself, but also carrying it over a little bit more in the crease here, like the top of the lid, so I get more of this angle. Really quickly on my inner corner with a small blending brush, I'm grabbing White Lotus from the Still Pretty palette. I will spray this and use it, did I say on my inner corner? And use it on my inner corner. Okay, I am no longer a snow cone. I am officially the American flag, and a couple other countries who use red, white, and blue. I'm gonna go off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. My waterline, I used white and then I put on some mascara. I halfway intended to do an eyeliner and I didn't. On my lips, I'm wearing NYX Butter Gloss. This is the color Red Velvet. And I have BH Frosé and Tulum for a bronzer and highlighter. That's everything. Here's the look. In hindsight, I think I may have done this before because I think that the last time I wore this shirt, I was inspired to do red and blue. And I'm pretty sure I did a red outer corner and a blue shimmer because I don't actually have many red shimmers. I think I might have 2 or 3 in my whole collection. So it would have been easier for me to select a red matte and a blue shimmer. And then I probably did white as my inner corner highlight. I'm not sure. I think I've done this before. This is what I'm wearing today, and I do think it's pretty. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Most of the time, my looks are quite unique from each other because I don't like to repeat my looks. I have so many beautiful colors. I don't see any purpose in using the same combination unless I have absolutely loved it. But then I keep thinking, well, I could just absolutely love something else. Anyway, I hope you will stay and come back for more, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!